You're listening to The A to Z of Spirituality by Divine Soul Yolandi Bossel. I work with light workers and starseeds who are ready to transform their lives and shine. I will be covering loads of topics relating to spiritual growth, and I will teach you what I have learned on my own journey so far. A journey of connecting with my sacred Mary Magdalene sisterhood, my cosmic lineage, my earth ancestors, sacred sites around the world, and my own divine soul. So, if you're ready for some profound ideas and deep spiritual connection, make sure you join me today. Grab a cuppa and let's shine. Welcome to today's episode. So, J is for judgment. So, this is an interesting one, and I was trying to prep this morning for just having this conversation with you, and it was really interesting because every time I want to start writing something down, my guides are like, nope, drop back into your heart when you speak about this, dude. So I'm literally gonna wing it today and just see what happens, because this is apparently how we're gonna roll today. So, judgment. So I was reminded again this morning that when I started writing the book, and you've heard me speak about the Starseed Sacred Circle if you're on any of my other social media platforms. So the book has gone to the publishers. It's being edited at the minute. I've just seen the design of the front cover. I'm in love. And so everything has been amazing up to this point, and it's been such an unfolding, this whole journey, because when I started the book, I was giving an outline by my guides as to like kind of what they wanted, so that I had somewhere to start. And then as I started writing the book, it was like this long line of events that kept on going into the space of judgment, And writing a book is a very judgmental experience, because you are literally constantly questioning everything that you are putting on that piece of paper and putting judgment against it. And so it was such an interesting experience to go through this, because that was not the idea of the book. The book was not going to be about judgment or anything like that. The book was going to be about the sacred circle process and how you can use it in your life, and how it helps, right? And so, but the more and more I went down this whole thing, like the more and more judgment came into play. And it was this experience of seeing how it made me reevaluate how I felt about things. So in one of the sections of the book, I write about the patriarchy, and I write about our wounds, and the witch wounds was just one of the examples that I used, because there's so many wounds. I also write about starseed wounds and all sorts of other woundings, because that's generally the place where we start from as humanity, right? Like our judgment is intrinsically linked to the wounds that we carry. So I had this experience, and I speak about it in the book, where I was uh, like with some friends, and then the whole story is basically that I found out at one point during the time of writing the book that I was responsible for burning witches, that I myself was one of the people who hunted the witches. And this completely threw me, because I was a bit like, I know that we've all done bad things in past lives and all of that, but to be that part of the patriarchy that I despise most, because for me it's like the guys who did the witch hunts were, in my opinion, like, oh my God, what is that? Why would you ever do that? Why would you create all this pandemonium? And when my guides showed me this in such a real way, because this was someone that I met and I remembered, and I had a mini breakdown and panic attack at that point in time, like when I realized, shit, this is what I did, right? And then it was like, what they were trying to show me was like all of us within us have at some point in time participated in harming and in creating chaos, and in whatever sense on this planet, every single human being have gotten dark, light. They've gone like good, evil. Like it's always been there. And the point is that the minute that I start stepping into judgment about what other people are doing, I need to start looking at myself first. Okay, so before I go off on a rant about this one and that one and being in judgment of this one and that one, I need to start looking at myself. So that's the one strand. The other strand is about our fear of being seen and our fear of being judged by other people. And that was such an interesting one for me because that's always, since I started this journey, um, my own healing journey, my journey of being a healer, um, it's always been the big thing. Like there's always this fear, and this is obviously our persecution wounds that are coming up, our witch wounds that are coming up, our starseed wounds that are coming up again, where I am scared of people seeing me. I'm scared of what people are going to say when they see me speaking light language, when they see me doing all the weird shit that I'm doing. I'm scared of that. When they see me on my book cover, I'm scared of that, right? It's all that like fear of like being seen. But then that all comes down back again to judgment, other people judging me, but it's about me judging me. Okay, all of it always boils down to me judging me. So I was looking at this and I'm like, I'm constantly in judgment of myself. Like the world outside of me is literally reflecting everything that is going on inside of me. So the more judgy I am and the more hectic I am within myself, and the more I'm hating this part of myself, and the more I'm trying to hide that part of myself, and the more I don't want other people to see that part of myself, the more I'm creating this internal chaos of energy. And as above, so below, as within, so without. That's what I'm doing, right? Like everything that's happening here, boom, world reflection outside of me. So when I started unraveling this whole thing, I was like, oh my God, I'm doing this, and I'm fairly aware of what's going on inside of me all of the time. And when I started seeing this, I was like, no. So where are you at? Like, what are you doing? How hectic is inside of you, wrapped up in judgment? Okay, because this is the thing that we are not realizing, is that everything that we hate in the world, everything that we want to get rid of, all the stuff we are standing up against, all of it is a reflection of what's happening inside of us. Okay, so we have to stop at some point and first look at ourselves. And I totally understand that there are certain things in the world that is just morally unacceptable, and that is all good. And I understand the judgment of that, but it's also a point of like stepping back and going, okay, so what's the bigger picture here? What is happening here? What is it that we need to look at? Not just as individuals, but our individual contribution to the energetic chaos on the planet is creating all of that pain. I am responsible for the shit going down in some of the most horrific places in the world because how I am energetically interacting with the world. So when I step back into the space of starting to forgive myself, starting to work through my wounds, starting to actually step back and focus on my inner healing journey, then things are going to start changing. Okay? The minute I started realizing this, lots and lots and lots of things started changing for me. And I just felt like the world became so much easier to manage, so much easier to look at, and my solutions for things and how I interact with things and how I speak up about things completely changed, because the energy that I speak about things that make me sad and things that I feel is wrong, if that energy is in the energy of judgment, nothing's going to change because people don't take action. Okay. But if that energy that I come at it from is the energy of beautiful, pure, divine source energy. And I start from that point of activism, and I start from that point of like going, okay, we need to do something about this. We need to mobilize the troops to change this and this and this. That's a completely different energy. Okay. It's not about going to war anymore. Okay. It's about going into the space of pulling our collective energy together and creating change. And this is not the energy of hatred. This is not the energy of judgment that is needed on this planet at this point in time. It is literally the energy of divine love when it comes together, the energy of sacred rage, when it comes together, it is a magical thing and it will change things in such a beautiful way. But until I start dealing with my own internal shit and I stop projecting all of my wounds onto humanity, until then, we've got work to do. Okay. So for me, today is a call into action for you again to step into the space of taking responsibility for your healing. This week with the 555 portals, the judgment was coming up thick and fast in the beginning of the week, and I was observing it and I was going, whoa, the energies are just like making it all boil again up to the surface, and humanity is all going, what's happening? And you could see it in the Schumann resonance, and you could see how those different energies coming from outside of the planet were starting to make people feel uncomfortable. And when we start feeling uncomfortable, and when those little lines on that screen starts going crazy, then it's like time to let the shadows out. It's time to start looking at them. It's time to start healing them. Okay, because if you are showing up in the world from that place of fear and from that place of deep judgment within yourself, think about what that energy is doing. That is not that is not that is not the place where you find peace. That is not the place where you find love. That is not the place where you find healing. That is not the place where you get to inspire other humans to love themselves more and to be in a better space. Okay. So we all have to constantly check in with ourselves. I am I am doing so much work on my wounds, and I'm like, how many wounds can one human have, right? And as I always say, like, I'm like very self-aware, but shit, every week there's something new coming up that I need to look at. There's some little bit that I haven't yet quite sorted out for myself, where I'm not comfortable in myself yet. And this all comes down to being comfortable within yourself, right? It all comes down to being in that space where you're going, I like me. I like what I'm saying. I've thought about my truth. I've thought about who I am. I've thought about how I want to be in the world. And this is what I'm going to give out there. But if I'm constantly putting on the little cloak of judgment and going, ooh, I don't know, I'm scared my mom's going to be upset if I start doing this, or I'm scared my friend's not going to like that, or I'm scared I can't do this. This is not the way that is in alignment with your soul. Okay, our beautiful, amazing souls, they just want to come out here and have a ball. They just want to come out here and go, ta-da, I want to paint the town red, and I want to create this, and I want to do that, and I want to feel that. And then the human goes, oh, what are my friends going to say? I'm so scared of this. That one's going to judge me. This fear, I might get persecuted, blah, blah, blah. So, like, we have 1,000 excuses for taking this beautiful energy that's within us and pouring it out into the world, taking this beautiful love that's within us and pouring it out into the world, all of our gifts, pouring it out into the world. Okay, and all of this, no one is holding you back. You are the one who are constantly in the space of pulling back into your own judgment. You are the one holding on to that. Okay, and that is where it all starts. So you start unraveling your own judgment, you're going to show up in the world in a way different place. You will be, yeah, everything starts shifting when you get out of that space. And I can just speak for myself, because if I look at the last 5 years of stepping out of judgment of my weirdness, I own it. I own the fact that I speak light language. I have no issue telling people all about it. I've just written a book about it. I speak about it on here. Like, I literally don't give a flying fuck. Like, none at all. Because this is my truth. and I'm happy to share it with the world. And there are plenty of people who don't like this, but it's my experience. I'm here to share my experience. That's what my soul wants to do. I'm not going to stop doing that. Okay. I didn't feel like this 5 years ago. I had to unravel all this. I had to go through the process of getting to know myself, that I'm in that space where I'm so comfortable now. I'm like, you know what? I will go on freaking TV and speak light language. That's it. That's where I'm at this point. But it wasn't the easiest journey. And the thing is, you have to start somewhere, because you can get to the point where you can go, I don't care what you think. This is me. This is me. And like all the love that I have in my heart, this is me. This is all why I'm doing all of the work that I do, is because it comes from a deep space of my soul expression and the love that we all carry within ourselves. Okay. So I love it. I think Nicola Humbert, like from where I'm publishing, from the Unbound Press. And I think she had this, I can't remember the exact words, but she was speaking about denying the world your gifts and denying the world your brilliance, right? And for me it is exactly that. Like, you have this amazing light and this thing within you. All of us carry it within us, right? And like, you holding it back, you judging yourself, you being in fear, you're denying everyone the pleasure and the beauty and the experience of connecting with your beautiful energy. Okay, so I know today is a bit lectury, but I needed to get this out. I needed to just say this because there's so much beauty in the world. And when we are in that space where we are unapologetically throwing all of this amazing energy that we hold out there, it makes a difference. Okay, it lights something up. We create happiness, we create joy, we create freedom, we create all of these amazing things. So shouldn't you think about that maybe? I'm just putting it out there. Shouldn't you just sit back and go, right, let's start unraveling, and let's start looking, and let's start shining. So yeah. Anyway, that's my 2 cents worth today. Um, I'm very excited for my book to come out, and it's a real journey into all of these things that I've spoken about today, um, and a companion to help you step through judgment. And I'm so grateful to the universe and to my guides for putting me into the hardest 3 months of my life, so that I could create something that I feel will help people move through judgment and back into their truth of who they are. So yeah, so I can't wait to birth that baby. But for now, I need you to start sitting with this. I need you to start looking at this, because I'm promising you, you will feel so much better once you step out of judgment. It's one hell of a cloak to drop. And yeah, it's like the lions, when we were in South Africa doing a retreat there, and we got some messages through Kat at Panthera Africa, and she said that the lion said to her, you humans are always walking around with these big buckets of concrete, and you feel obliged to pick them up and take them everywhere. And the buckets of concrete were literally all our shit, and we felt that we need to carry it everywhere. And they said to her, all you need to do is you need to just put it down and walk away from them. But you humans never do that. You feel obliged to take these things. So put the buckets down and just allow yourself to start walking out and going, bye bye, judgment. Here I come. Okay. Because where you are walking to is a place that's a hell of a lot lighter than where you currently are. Okay. So I'm sending you so much love. So next time we will be delving into K, and see what comes up there. So have a beautiful week, and thank you so much for listening.